Hey, this will be a video chart on FCSC. Big news today on this one. I believe it was FDA approval or something like that. As you can see, pretty obvious that there's a lot of eyes on it today, judging by the volume bar. Unfortunately, the price didn't really act how I'm sure a lot of people wanted it to. It gapped up here right around $1.50, and then basically just got hammered the rest of the day. There's a couple decent bounces in there for the day traders, but as far as what I'm sure people are hoping on that sort of news, pretty disappointing. But the chart, depending on what happens, is still hanging in there. And before you call me crazy, let me kind of justify what I mean by that. But I should also clarify that depending on what your strategy is, the chart's going to mean different things to you. Now, if you're a day trader and you bought a pair or hair, then yeah, you should already be out of this. Your stop loss already been triggered, and you should be moving on. Now, if you're in this for the longer term, maybe a long-term swing trade, or you're just following the company fundamentally, then the chart is still hanging in there. And the main thing that's making me say that is this purple line right here, which is the 50-day simple moving average. You can see that that's essentially right where it closed today. And it actually looks like we got some after-hours action going. That's why this price over here is changing. But what we want to see is for this moving average to continue to hold. If it doesn't, then there are still some other areas of support below it. But ideally, the 50-day right here is what we want to see hold for the overall chart. Now, if we want to scrunch it up, we can also draw some other trend lines. Depending on how picky you really want to get, we could go down here and kind of draw an uptrend line like that. And we could also use this as a support. So if you chose to do that, actually let me change this to green to represent this being a support level. Make that thick so it sticks out. But where we're getting this from, we had a low here, low, lows, and then a couple times right here. So when we move back in here, just remember where that's coming from. But some people, and they'd have every right to do it, would say, who cares what happens with this 50-day? We care about this trend line, and we want to see it bounce if it drops down there. So at the end of the day, all pretty much the same thing. The price needs to put in higher lows. Now, if you say it needs to put in a higher low here, fine. If you say down here, that works too. But at the end of the day, like I said, we got to see some higher lows get put in. And hopefully the sellers are mainly out. The rest of this week will be very important. We're going to want to see volume drop down as low as possible, and then either see the price go sideways, or if it pulls back a little bit more, that's where we're going to want to see volume drop down even more than ideally one of these days. If we could get a few days like over here, that'd be pretty good, as that would just show that the selling has hopefully pretty much chilled out. In terms of resistance levels, really you just still have right around the $1.40 area. In my opinion, that's the last thing people should be worried about at this point. It's more about making sure that the supports hold up. So I wouldn't worry too much about resistances right now. I'd leave kind of the focus on support levels. So that is where the chart currently stands. Pretty crazy day. If there are any other questions on it, please let me know. If not, I'd encourage you to check out bullwarriorstocks.com. If you go there and sign up for the free newsletter, you'll be sent a free ebook. And with your newsletter subscription, you'll get chart setups, trade ideas, educational pieces, all sorts of things from penny stocks up to big boards. So there's a good variety, something for everybody. It is all free. We've been making some good money together on our alerts. So I'd encourage you to go to the website, sign up, and see what it's all about. One more time, this was FCSC. Thanks for listening.